Hello, everyone. I am Roswell Royce Laurie. Welcome to Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata. Honestly, I don't know who those people are, but whoever they are, thank you for clapping. I am I am honored to be here tonight. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the summer edition of Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata. This summer, we are going live with members of Cool Folks from all around the world. Yes, we will learn about their events. We're going to learn about their careers. We're going to learn about their passion, and much, much more. Tomorrow, I'm going live with Ricky Jenkins, and Friday, I'm going live with Calvin and Selfie. Today, Ellen Gates with her business partner, Romel Bernader, is going to join us. It's my first time meeting them, and I'm super honored and I'm super excited. Before we bring them on, just a couple quick announcements. A few years ago, when I lived in Texas, I wanted to come up with a unique platform. Facebook approached me with a couple scenarios. They're like, Roswell, why don't you create a Facebook that has, like cool men who love to bachata? And I said, guys, what about the women? So I decided to change the name to Cool Ladies Who Love to Bachata. Social media got on my back and they said, hey, that you can't do that. That's kind of biased. So I said, okay, folks who love to bachata. What about that? All right. There was no comments about that. So Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata emerged 3 years ago, and it continues to grow. Social media has asked me to continue this interview process for the fall of 2023. So beginning in September, this is going to be a permanent weekly program. And not only am I going to go live with members from Cool Folks, but I'm going to go live with people from all over the world. So yes, it's going to be a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous autumn 2023. Guys, I'm in New York for the summer, and I'm going to a lot of events in August. Our friends are hosting some of the greatest events. Uh, the DCBX event is coming up in August, okay? And I have discount codes for you guys to use. If you guys have not purchased your tickets yet, please let me know, and I have some codes to give to you guys to get like a discount. So Lee, thank you for offering that to our members. I appreciate it. I'm going to be in Arkansas for the first time. My friend Melody and Miguel, they're going to have their Rasa event. So I'm looking forward to that. My good friend Central Movement, right here in New York City, the first weekend of August, they're going to have their weekender event, and that's going to be fabulous, you know. So I will be there. My good friend Jonathan Amaya is going to have his weekender event in New Jersey. So you guys, please come out to that. Wendy and Rodrigo in Charlotte, North Carolina, they're going to have their weekender event. The Denver Bachata Festival. Oh my God, there's so many events happening in August, and I hope to see you guys at most of them. All right, so before you guys say anything, yes, I'm wearing the same shirt and from yesterday. I didn't get a chance to do my laundry. As you guys know, I'm bad with time management. So, but yeah, we are live. We are live. I'm just wearing the same shirt. So I apologize. I'm gonna bring on Ellen and Romel so they can talk with me for a few. All right. So, hello.
Hi.
Uh, we have
We
a
have a
third party. So the more the merrier. Okay. Hi.
He's interested.
yeah.
Hi, how are you? This is the same thing Wendy and Rodrigo. I planned to go live with them and they're like their pet just showed up from nowhere. I'm like, what can I ask the little guy? I mean, how I mean, in their language or whatever. But the more the merrier. I am honored to have the two of you join me. As we were talking about before, it's sort of like my first time kind of meeting you guys, so I'm honored, and I apologize for not being properly dressed, for based on first appearance. So I apologize. So you guys are in Florida at
Mhm.
this moment?
Yes.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yep.
okay. Whereabouts in Florida? I forgot.
St. Petersburg, which is near Tampa.
Okay, great. Yeah, my friend, uh, yeah, Tamara Salsa. She's always telling me to come. She's always telling me to come down to Tampa and hang out with her. But yeah, okay, yeah. I used to live in Miami. We were talking about it before, and then I moved after the COVID ended, or kind of ended. I moved back. I moved back to New York for a little bit. Then I moved down south to Atlanta for a year, and now I came back. So I do miss Florida. I really do. Um, I'm gonna ask you guys a basic question, and this might help me also. But could the two of you please tell everyone a little bit about you guys, please?
Well, my name is Ellen Gates. I'm originally from the Seattle area, but I've lived in Florida now for a little over a year.
Okay.
I dancing bachata since uh, beginning of 2019, so it's been a little over 4 years now. Um, I train in Orlando with bachata, and then Rome and I met last summer, so it's been almost a year now. And we run a local fusion social here in the Tampa Bay area that features Brazilian Zouk, urban kids, and bachata sensual. It's a once a month thing, and we usually do a drop-in class. Then we have a couple hours of a mixed social, and it's the only social of its kind in the area that features all three of those styles to better serve our fusion community here.
So, yes, my name is Ramel. People call me Rome for short. I'm from the DC area, and the dancing there is amazing over there. I just recently moved down here about a year ago, almost, and came here for a job. So I just kind of fell into the dance community here, kind of bring a little bit of DC down here. I decided to open or start my own dance entertainment company called Dance Life Entertainment. and we decided to go ahead and start the Tropical Fusion. And the reason why I wanted to, or we wanted to get into it, was that there was a void that was being, I think, in the dance community I didn't see in DC, or I'm sorry, that I wanted to see here in DC, because we mainly here it's like salsa and bachata, but I wanted to bring a little bit of the flavor of Zouk and Kizomba.
Mhm.
So I've been dancing for about 8 years now, and I currently teach at Gulfport Casino Ballroom for beginners on Thursday nights, and that's it.
I'm sorry. You teach a ballroom? You said ballroom.
The venue is called Casino Ballroom,
Yeah.
but he teaches bachata.
Got it.
Yeah, so
Got it.
it's a publicly owned casino ball. It's a publicly owned ballroom,
Mhm.
and basically the city runs it, and we kind of rent the day for us to teach there.
Okay, I want to apologize to everyone. I'm deaf in one ear. I lost my hearing about like 8 months ago after the COVID. So sometimes when people talk to me, it's like, I gotta like go up to the camera, and then I wear hearing aids. I don't have it on now, so I can balance the sound. So guys, I mean, if I ask you guys to like, what did you say? It's not because I'm not, not listening. I just kind of like deaf in one ear, so I apologize for that. So when you said ballroom, I mean, now I understand, where you're coming from. I thought you were like, I used to take ballroom dance class many years ago when I was in college.
Mhm.
Before bachata and zouk and all of that stuff. I thought I was going to be a ballroom dancer, and I tried it out, and it didn't really work out because I'm bad with directions, and, my instructor back in the days, he was like, how many times I got to, do I have to draw pictures? I'm like, yeah. So it didn't work out, it didn't work out. And then I tried different styles of dancing, I started like, salsa and kazumba, mambo. I'm West Indies, by the way, so like kazumba is something like, close to like, my culture and whatever the type of music, reggae and stuff. But then again, I didn't really get into it. And then bachata, for some odd reason, it just it was a perfect match. I just it just I don't know. It just happened. Like I like automatically. I just got so much into the dance style and the structure of bachata. I decided, maybe do something unique and like create this platform. Cool folk love the bachata. So but I do appreciate all the types of dancing there are out there. And Alan, I know when I was reading your profile, something about Zouk you mentioned. So I just want to ask both of you, since uh, one of you are in Florida and then the other one is in DC. And Romel, I used to live in DC before I moved to Texas and Miami. I used to take what is it called? I think traditional or urban bachata at the time before sensual. So I used to take classes in DC on how to, learn that and stuff. So it was very interesting. So I want to ask you guys kind of like a general question here. You got DC, you got Florida. People have different ways of teaching and learning, and so and et cetera, et cetera. You guys are witness to this, right? So I guess Romel, let me ask you a question, being that you're from DC and stuff. So how do you feel that the bachata industry, the way of teaching, is sort of like, I don't know, kind of different or kind of similar to how it's done in
Oh,
Florida? I mean, I know it's the same thing, it's similar, but
Yeah.
people still have a different technique, way to do it. So I don't know, man. So is there?
In terms of technique, it just really depends on the teacher themselves. Like when I was in DC, the two biggest names that come to mind is Ferocity and Classe, and they have a different style of teaching. Like with Classe is run by Linda Sains, and she's one of the best in terms of in DC.
mhm.
And she teaches, 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 and she teaches technical dancer. She's great at teaching styling. She's great at teaching proper technique, proper form, and she has great choreography skills. Ferocity, to me, the one thing that I love about them is that they have one, they have great choreography, and two, that they have this really awesome family camaraderie that they have at school. Um, and I think uh, part of that kind of goes with the culture there. In terms of difference between here and Florida, I don't really see much of that. Nor have I, but I haven't. I can't say that I've been to a couple of the schools here. I've only been to one, and I didn't. I don't think I got enough experience with the other schools here. But I'm looking to actually communicate to the schools more because I want to get them involved in the community that we're building.
Mhm.
Okay. The reason I asked that question, and it's just because, I traveled, being, like I was saying before, I traveled, to DC, I lived in DC for a year, then Miami, then Texas, Atlanta, I even lived overseas. So, I always find, every area, they have a certain addition or certain techniques or a certain, every time I think I know what I think I know about bachata, there's something else that comes up and I'm like, wow, I didn't know that, and so I find it fascinating and it's very educational, to like travel to different places and to actually learn in those capacities. Is that fair to say? Again, it's still bachata, but it's you know
Florida seems to be more in tune with the modern style and urban style bachata.
Mhm.
Versus like in DC, they're very multifaceted. But I think sensual is way more apparent in DC. I think those are the two biggest differences when it comes to styling and teaching. Um, so that's kind of what I've noticed between here and Florida.
If we're comparing outside of Orlando, yes,
Yeah.
or Miami. Because sensual is very present in Orlando and Miami, whereas Tampa it doesn't have a real presence.
At all. Yeah. I think the biggest school there for what Giovanni and
In
Anastasia.
Orlando, it's AYJ, it's Anastasia and Giovanni.
It's just them, yeah, that actually teach it.
Well, Yari teaches too.
I don't know why.
But the big school is Bachata Sensual Orlando.
Yeah, I know when I was in Miami, like when I made the switch from DC to Miami, there I kind of learned a little bit more about Central Bachata and stuff, and then going to Atlanta, it's more I don't know, it was I don't know, it was all the same thing, but it was a great experience to see the different types of approaches and how each instructor and how they teach it, the atmosphere, just how the students learn and stuff. Speaking of learning, Ellen, I got to ask you a question. When someone that comes to you for the first time, right? And, they want to learn the basics of dance, Zouk, for example. I mean, I know your Zouk is something that you like. So, when I had to learn Zouk in Miami, it didn't really work out because I didn't. I was one of those like people that I feel that I know everything. If I know bachata, then I know Zouk. So my instructor was like, Roswell, get the 1, 2, 3, 4 out of your head. This is Zouk. This is not bachata, bro.
Yeah.
Focus. And I'm so and Ellen, I'm so like um stubborn. Like I don't want to unlearn what I learned. So someone like you, let's say someone like me comes up to you and I say, hey, can you please help me try to unlearn what I about a different dance so I can learn the proper way of, let's say, Zouk or something. Like how, I mean, I know that takes a lot of patience, it takes a lot of time, and I don't think I could be an instructor, 'cause that's not me. But how do you begin that process if someone comes up to you and they say, you know what, I know a certain pattern of dance and I should be okay with this, and then you're like, no, we got to start from scratch. So how do you work with that person?
That's a That's a great question. You can't come right at it and be like, no, you're wrong, this is going to be super difficult, because then they're going to get really defensive and they're going to be like, no, I'm a pro in this style. And you can't just tell somebody that doesn't automatically transfer. You kind of just have to let them kind of figure it out for themselves. I would encourage someone who maybe has that mentality to be like, let's try to keep an open mind. Like, maybe not all the skills that you learned in that style are going to transfer. And it's apples and oranges. They're very different. And coming from bachata, any new beginner, whether it's Zouk or Kizomba, I would be like throw out the numbers first. Like, go based off of sound. Whether it's Zouk, then it's boom, shik shik, or with Kizomba, you're just listening to the beat, and it's just step, 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 step. You can't count in the beginning, because you're going to transfer that 1, 2, 3 from bachata, and you're going to feel that hesitation. So specifically with Zouk, because Zouk is very difficult to learn in the beginning, especially for a lead. Follows, it's a little bit easier, but for leads, it's incredibly difficult, because it's very there's a lot of frame and other things that go into it technicality wise. So I think not focusing on the counts right away and focusing more on the steps and the move, and then the rhythm, which is that slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, can help a beginner kind of like divorce their mindset from the previous style. But someone who maybe, you can only encourage someone to be so open-minded, and then they go through a class and they realize that it's not easy to switch over from one style to another. So sometimes people need to experience and kind of stumble and fall, and then they realize, oh, I thought I was going to be great at this, and then realize, maybe not so much, and like, maybe I need to humble myself, which we all do. We all need to humble ourselves and be like, we don't know as much as we think we know. But yeah, so I think sometimes you can't tell somebody, you just have to let them experience the class, just let them try, and then they figure out for themselves to be like, oh, this is not easy. And then you can encourage, and you can be like, yeah, it's not easy in the beginning, but you can relearn. You can learn something new. You learned bachata, you can learn Zouk.
Yeah. I don't know. Thank God, if you were my dance instructor in Miami a couple of years ago, you would have slapped me silly. You would be like, well, Oswald, come over here. No, thank God, no. But it didn't work out for me. I mean, I love Zouk. Don't get me wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's great, but I don't know. I think I just wasn't focused enough, or I just wasn't ready to open up my mind to something new.
And that's a good
one.
Like,
but
that's a really good point. If somebody is not ready, and they're in a different space where they're doing something else, they have to want to learn that style, and you can't force someone to want to learn something. So if they're not in a space where they're ready and they want to learn this, then you're like, well, okay, then this is not your time, or this is not, maybe this is just not your style that you would prefer. So
yeah, okay, that's great. I wanted to ask, and that leads to one of the questions that we were talking about before we went on live that I'm going to ask you guys. Learning and kids, and so this would be a perfect time to ask you guys this question. When I was young, right? I know you guys don't know much about me. When I was young, my parents, they were like, son, you're gonna you're gonna go to college. There's no ifs, ands about it. I don't want to hear about acting and dancing and drawing and stuff. It's only for rich people or people that know people in a business. You're going to go to school. You're going to get a master's. You're going to get a doctoral, and all of that stuff. I'm done, and I'm doing the legal stuff. So, but deep in my heart, right? Ellen, I've always wanted to do what I'm doing now. It took a long time, but I'm doing what I'm doing. But I still had a good upbringing, a strong upbringing. So so thank God for that. So not many kids have had that opportunity that I've had, or you guys have, or most people that we know. Maybe they're being discouraged. Maybe their parents are being like, "What? No, no, no. You're going to go to business school or law school or whatever." There's nothing wrong with that. But what you see a kid, right, and you look at their eyes, and you could see it in them that that's what they want to do. That's what they really want to do. They want to pursue this dancing as a profession to the end. You know. So this is a question I gotta ask you, both of you, please. If a child comes up to you guys, maybe after we're done with this interview, whatever, you see them tomorrow, whatever, they come up to you guys, they look at you like maybe not how I'm looking at you guys, and they're like, "Hey, I want to do this." You know, what advice can you give to him or her?
Well, I mean, if depends on where they want to take it. So if they want to take it to the professional level and be like an international dance artist,
Competition.
or do competitions, I honestly to I would just tell them like, look, you don't lose that spirit, and I want you to sign up for everything that you can dance for. Like sign up for every class that you can try for, and then also, I would say there was one thing I wanted to say, which was, surround yourself around people who also want to aspire to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the community that you surround yourself with is going to encourage you. You find like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
You might even find your partner there, and I mean dance partner,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I would say that's one of the first things I would do is surround myself with people who want to aspire to do the same thing, and then they'll encourage you to push forward and achieve your goal.
Mm-hmm. I think, yeah, finding that community, that support system, that people all on the same track as you want to be. And this applies to adults too, like it's kids and adults. Like if you discovered dance later in life and you're serious about it and you're wanting to pursue it, whether as a career or as like a very, very serious hobby or doing competition, you find other people who have the same level of passion, same interest, that community, that support system. You surround yourself with those people. I think for kids, it's a different scenario where maybe you don't have access to certain resources that you would as an adult. You're kind of reliant on other people. But I think just doing whatever you can with what you have to train. There's YouTube nowadays. Like you can go on YouTube, and I'm not saying you should learn dance solely off of YouTube. Let's be clear, that's not what I'm saying.
Don't be a YouTube student, please.
But I'm saying if you're a kid and you don't have access to resources, you don't have access to a dance class, find an online dance school. Go find how to do the basic step of whatever dance that you're wanting to do, and drill it and practice it, and put a mirror in front of you and practice it over and over and over and over and over again. And until you're able to maybe have access to greater resources, contacting dance teachers or dance schools in the area, seeing if there are scholarships to art institutes or schools that might be geared toward dance. That would be something that you could look into as a child.
Are you gonna slap me again? That's how I started out learning YouTube. I wanted to be. I'm stubborn, man. I'm just stubborn. I started to look at YouTube. That's how I got into bachata.
It fosters interest. It fosters interest. It's just like Don't learn everything off YouTube.
Yeah,
Like, go talk to an actual teacher at some point.
I wouldn't learn like advanced techniques through YouTube.
No,
not often. No, like if you want to learn the basics,
you need to have somebody in person see what you're physically doing, and then if you're doing something wrong, correct what you're doing wrong.
I mean, one thing that
you can't do over YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I do is like I sometimes ask people that I have great connections with, and I just ask them, say, like, I'm trying to learn some moves, or I'm trying to learn more bachata at a higher level. You know, would you be interested in practicing with me like 1 hour a week or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And that I do that with somebody, actually a couple people right now, on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Okay, thanks for sharing that. I always say there's a right way and a wrong way to start stuff. You know, I don't know. With me, I just start things off difficult, and then I'm like, oh, really? Was that the right way to do it? I didn't know that. You know, at least.
Yeah, everyone starts somewhere.
Yeah. At least you're trying.
Yeah.
But I'd say reach out to some people that would like to work with you live, and just try to practice together.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good start.
Okay, great. Ellen, you mentioned the magic word here, support, and that is something I wanted to talk to you guys about. I ask every person that comes on live with me this question, so it's sort of like a Roswell question here with regards to support. You guys know I come to like events. You know, I travel as much as I could, especially on the East Coast. Like I come support your colleagues from Cool Folks Love the Bachata, say quick hello, but then again, I don't really like stay the entire night. I'm there for like 5 minutes, then hopping in an Uber, going uptown, staying there for 30 minutes, hopping back in Uber, going downtown for 5 minutes, then running across the street for like 2 hours, going to someone else's event. Before you know it, it's 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I haven't danced with one chick ever. Okay. So it's not only a Roswell problem, but I've noticed, check this out. I've noticed that when I go to different events now, you know, it hardly, you know, not many people show up. Like here's a good example. It's a Saturday night, right? Okay. Five Amigos. Okay. Could be any city, a great city. Could be New York, Miami, Paris, wherever, right? These guys are big shots, right? They've been in the business for such a long time, and they've been friends for such a long time, right? So you got like Mike, for example, you got Jane, you have, I don't know, Rashid, you have Chip, and you have, I don't know, Valencia. Okay, five amigos, right? So they live within 5 miles of a radius, right? And they all decide to have their event on the same night, back to back. And now people like me and maybe colleagues, friends, whoever. Now we have to decide like, should we go here, you know, for a couple minutes, or should we just stay here all night? But then again, what about our friend here? Oh, but then again, what about our friend here? But then before you know it, only like two, three, you know, like two people come to our friend's event here. 5 people come to this guy's event. 10 people come to this guy's event. 1 person come to this guy's event. You know, so my point to you is that, you know, I noticed that it happens over and over. And forgive me, I know I'm still kind of new in this business. I've just been in it for like under like 7 years now. So maybe it's always been like this, and I'm just noticing now. But just a suggestion I'm going to ask you guys, just so this doesn't happen, or maybe to prevent it, is there a way our five amigos could handle this better, so you know everyone could come to the same event, or they can all collaborate? And you know, because think about it, they're spending all of that, you know, each one of them is spending like, you know, like a fortune, you know, to get like dancers and workshop people come here to have legal contract that, you know, they're not really profiting much, you know, when they look at the numbers the next day, you know.
Right.
So I guess what I'm asking is, do you guys have any suggestions on how the dance world can better support one another, like in a situation like that? And it's not a right or wrong answer. I'm just, you know, getting, you know, your input that, you know,
Okay.
it could help the next organizer that's planning something next year. I don't know.
I kind of have a solution, but she can.
So, what was I gonna, that was something I was going to say first off of. So that is a common theme in a lot of cities where weekends specifically are oversaturated with multiple events. And oftentimes it's organizers that they don't choose to collaborate. You get two different camps where you have a dance school and a dance teacher that puts on socials, and then you have people that are separate that don't teach. They're not a dance school. All they do is event coordination, and the event coordinator is not really collaborating or working with the local dance schools or dance teachers to try to combine things. So if people were to do that, there might be less saturation, there might be less events. I do also notice that I personally don't go around to like 3 or 4 different events in one night. I usually just choose one. But I do notice that people will choose an event based upon one of two things: either the radius, like how close it is to them, like how conveniently located it is, or they know their friends are going to be there, or they know the organizer, or whatever it is, and it's like they want to go promote and like support that event. And so like if it's really big, like Fuego Friday in Sarasota every once a month, we travel an hour sometimes to go to that event because we know there's going to be people there that we love. We want to support that event. So regardless if there's like 5 different events going on one night, the factors of why people choose to go to one versus another could be location, or it could be that their friends are going to be at that social. For me, I think, it's just like you have socials that are also different styles. One might be all salsa, one might be salsa bachata, and one might be kizomba. So you don't get the same crowds that usually go. Like if you get someone who's going to salsa, they're most likely not going to take a break and go to kizomba later that night. They don't often, that crowds don't often mix, which is another reason where the scene here in Tampa, in the Tampa area, with kizomba, with Zouk, with Bachata Sensual are relatively small, that we combine all of these because we don't have enough of one, but also because we want to incorporate all these communities to work together. Did you have an answer? Or
I think we need to have a council of organizers and dance schools.
council.
Yeah, councils. Like, you can't operate on this night. I'm going to be running this night. No, I think a lot of it, sometimes those 5 amigos aren't really 5 amigos. They're more like 5 enemies.
Yeah.
And I ran into this in DC, and in DC, it's so saturated. There's an event. There's like 2 events every night.
Mm-hmm.
There's not even, but you kind of, yeah, I mean, like what she's saying, you kind of strategically try to place yourself
on a less saturated,
either a less saturated night, or in a place where, let's say, like for instance, like DC might have a social, but Virginia might have a social, and Virginia is 30 miles from DC. Most people don't want to go to DC. They want to just stay in Virginia.
Yeah.
So there's location, and then I think most people decide who they really like going to after a while. But if I had it my way, I would just love to communicate and bring people together and just kind of work something out where we can all kind of benefit. Like for instance, like, me as an organizer, I would like to be the go-to guy to provide an event for their dance schools so they can come together and be the outlet. Kind
of a neutral ground.
Yeah, neutral ground, or even just kind of be like the center for bringing new students, per se. Because I mean, my focus really is actually wanting to bring beginners into the social so that they can actually go to the schools that they feel like they can go to. Because I feel like you don't get enough experience just from going to a school. I feel like once you get your feet wet, and this is how I started. I started going to a social, and I started learning at a social, and then I started meeting people who go to different schools, like Class A and Ferocity, and they're telling me, "Oh, you need to go to Class A, or you need to go to this dance boot camp, and try this out, and then I'll go to different schools." And I've actually done that. I've actually went to Ferocity, went to Class A, and I got to know the family. I got to know the people there. And I've never committed to one school. However, I did take some of their classes, and I think I got a lot out of that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes yeah, it makes sense. I like to. I would have done like the first thing you were saying, just like tell people, hey, don't done it the Roswell way. Hey, you guys don't go to those events. Come to mine because mine is the best or whatever. Thank God I'm not hosting events. A lot of people would be yelling at me and stuff. But someone told me recently, this is like one of those like universal calendars of events. Like
Yes,
God, what you
Well,
call those things?
it's subjective because someone operates it, so it's like, I mean,
DC
not
has one.
everything is going to be. Tamara does a really good job here in the Tampa area of trying to put every single event on the calendar, but like, not every city has that.
Right.
And someone is putting that list together and may not have all the information of every single social that's going on in that area. So to be able to get a list of like everything that would be difficult.
I admire Tamar for doing all of that. She's great at trying to list all those events. And then DC also has one called Mi Gente DMV, and that guy, I know the guy, and he can click. He makes it so that you can click. If you click on the dance social, it'll take you right to the Facebook link, or it'll take you to the website. He's done a great job as well. But I'm actually thankful for those sites because it actually helps me better decide where I want to go. Like, timing and location, rather than me trying to go through Facebook, all right, let me look at through this and see, okay, this event looks cool. It's nice to have it all on one page so I can see it.
Yeah, I appreciate those words of wisdom and the comments. I don't know. I don't know what's my problem. I just feel bad for, 'cause all you guys are my friends. Every one of my platformers is my friends. Cool folks who love to bachata. So, I just kind of feel bad sometimes. I see some of your colleagues, they dish out like all of this money and stuff. They do it like every single weekend, and then Monday comes, Tuesday, they go over their numbers. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't really make much, and then they do the same thing over and over, and so I just say to myself, maybe it is what it is, and they cautiously are aware of what they're doing, and who am I to say anything? But I just wanted to bring this up because maybe by us talking about it, or the responses you guys just gave, which were great, maybe someone that's listening to this, that's planning their stuff a year from now or whatever, maybe they can incorporate some of the ideas you guys just shared. That's my point of bringing up that question.
It's also like we didn't get into this for the money. Like it's not like you make a lot of money from doing this.
No.
This
I never did one before, so I never.
Profit driven like business. This is really for the passion of the community, and because we want to dance. And we want a space to dance, and we want to invite other people to dance with us.
Yeah,
so that's all it is.
The reason why I even had this idea in the beginning was because
there was a lack.
Yeah, I mean, when I came down here, it was like, God, there's so many salsa socials. I was like, gosh, I want to do.
Okay, let's not incur the wrath of everybody.
No, but like, I want to dance more variety. I want to hear more central bachata.
Bachata sensual and the urban kids and the Brazilian Zouk scene has struggled, and we just want it to grow. We just want you to be able to dance these styles, weekly. And so
yeah, we got that going for us. So like there is a hole right there. There's a void there.
There is a niche to be filled.
There's a niche to be filled, and I feel like we can grow it starting with one social a month,
And then slowly building.
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 socials a month. We'll see. We'll see how much we can put out. But we got to start with one. Get a good following. Get the crowd backing us up. Like I said, we've only been here for yes.
We gotta get beginners.
We've only been here for a year, and so
we've only been doing this. We only did social since February. We've only been doing the social since February. So
we got to uphill battle.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, I appreciate. I really appreciate. I just learned something, because I didn't think, Ellen, the money thing. I didn't realize that most of the stuff could, it's sort of like nonprofit and that's. I mean, okay, I just learned something. So okay, because like I said, like who in their right mind would spend like $10,000 every weekend to do stuff like this? Only like 1 or 2 amigos shows up and then they do it again. I thought it was like something, men are some men are macho and like me, I'm the stubborn. I'm like, I don't care if one person show up. I just want to be famous. And that Boswell had an event and I'm going to dish out $10,000. But you just said something that made sense to me because I didn't know,
and I mean, you're not going to know if you don't know the business and you don't run an event. So that makes sense. But like socials that have been around for maybe 15, between 10 and 15 years, maybe they're making a profit because they're well established and they're probably only around that long because they have good music, they have a good dance floor, and they attract like a good crowd because they're quality.
They essentially develop a formula to create great dance socials.
Yeah. And they've been consistent.
And they make it so that the numbers actually make sense.
Yeah. But that takes like a long time to develop like a consistency and to build a reputation to the point where you're making a profit. I mean, we're lucky if we break even to just, cover the artist and whatever else other expenses that we have. And we believe in really paying our artists, like that's important to us. So yeah, like even festivals, like most of the time they're not making profit. They're like just trying to break even, and it's a passion project. It's just, they're bringing artists, they're helping to grow a scene. They're throwing an amazing event that people are going to talk about for a really long time just because they love dancing or they love bringing dance to people. Like it's not a business. Okay,
that makes sense. I'm sorry. I've been doing legal work. I'm a legal guy, as you guys know. It's everything about me is like it has to balance. It has to make sense. But okay, that makes sense. So now I know what to do when I do my first major Cool Folks event. So now I know how to. Wow. Okay. That's great. Great pointers. I appreciate that, and I speak on behalf of everyone. So you see, this is the reason I wanted to bring you guys. Okay, this is my exact reason. 3 years ago, I decided to do this. One of the reasons, so we can learn. We can learn from these interviews. It's not about you guys just coming on and say, "Hey, Roswell, guess what? Tell everyone we got the big event tonight, and they got to come, and the world is going to explode." No, it's not that. It's that, and guess what? Do you guys know that how these things are really done? So so it's a learning experience. That's what I want to accomplish here, and you guys are just witness to what I just said because you just, I just learned something, and I'm sure somebody else is on the same boat as I am who's looking at you guys talk. So so I appreciate that. I really do. Let me passion. I know you guys. I know you guys have to go soon. It's 10 o'clock. What are some events? I mean, got tropical fusion, Latin nights at the Gulfport Casino that Romel, we were touching on like an hour ago. Please tell us about some major events that you would like the dance world to be aware of.
Currently?
Okay, well, like you said, our Tropical Fusion Social every month. We also promote Fuego Friday, which is also once a month. It's usually every first Saturday I'm sorry, Friday. Friday. Every first Friday. And that is run by Bachata Fuego by Natasha, who we love and support and we work with and we collaborate with. Outside of that, I know there's Just Dance here in Tampa. There's a Just Dance festival coming up in Tampa shortly. There's a lot of events, like you mentioned, that are going on in August.
IMX.
IMX, yes! Another fantastic event, festival run by Natasha, Bachata Fuego, the International Movement Exchange in November. It's the first weekend of November. It's a combination of Bachata Sensual and Urban Kids. And so she's having Pierre and Alejandra from Denver, Bachata Denver, who will be doing the Bachata Sensual. We have Dennis, who's doing our bachata. We have Juliana, who's doing samba. And then for Urban Kids, we have Philip from Quality Kids, who's doing our Urban Kids. And so that's going to be in November.
The month of my birthday. That's great. Maybe I should hook up with Natasha and tell her to come on live with me. I got to contact her and invite her. I mean, I would love for her to talk to us about more about that. That's great. Those are great events.
Yeah.
And it's well planned, that's the thing I respect about you guys, each one of you. All right. You guys plan stuff in advance. It's not like, I plan stuff like 2 minutes before. Like, here, good example. Romel, bro, check this out.
Yeah.
Alan, a month ago, right? I asked your business partner, when can we go live? She gave me the exact date. And guess when I confirmed with her? You're going to love this. Like 3 o'clock in the morning. No, not yet. She was sleeping. Then this morning, I'm like, let me just confirm and then let me just make a public announcement. Boy, I'm in bad shape and I want to organize stuff like in 3 months. But what you guys are doing, it takes a lot of passion. It takes a lot of loyalty. Okay, not loyalty just to each other, but loyalty to the world. Okay, so I just want to say that because to everyone that's listening, what you guys do, I mean, all of you guys, there's 2,800 of you. Well, actually 2,900 of you. Like some people just joined last night. That do similar to what the two of you do, and I respect that because it takes a lot of time, a lot of courage, a lot of dedication. Away from your family, your friends, if you're in a relationship, if you have kids, or and you guys all do it for passion. Okay, not money, passion. And when there's passion, that's love. All right. So I just wanted to remind everyone else who's listening to this that I appreciate what you guys are doing. Okay, I personally appreciate because I don't have the guts to do what you guys are doing or the patience. Trust me, I don't. Okay, so 10:06. Okay, so what are some? I hate these. I hate these live interviews because I'm like I don't want to go. I want to keep talking. As you can tell, I have no life. But I know you guys really have stuff to do. So, what are some last minute words you guys want to say in general to everyone that's listening right now? Like, what are some? How do you guys want to end this?
Oh man, I want everyone basically come to Tampa, come to St. Pete, come see us.
Yes.
I'd love to dance with you guys. I dance with everyone. I don't judge, and help us continue to build a community. I really want to make this thing big. I want to be where I'm having 100 people, 200 people at my events. That's a goal, right? And continue to dance. That's one thing I guess I can say.
I think well, yes, definitely come visit us in St. Pete. If you are in the St. Pete area, come to our Tropical Fusion Social. That's once a month. Reach out to us personally to ask us what's going on dance wise. Definitely have a close knit but friendly dance community out here. And then I think just to remember to have fun with your dance. Like, don't lose don't completely lose that kid at heart when you dance. Like it's really easy to get into like training or trying to be like, I need to be better, or I gotta look like, the stars, but then you lose that fun aspect of like dancing. And I think that's part of why we have such a passion and love for dance, is that it brings us so much joy and fun.
And look me up on Instagram, Romy Rome682, and then Dance Life Entertainment is dance.life, LYFE .entertainment
on Instagram. Which is the company that we have that runs Tropical Fusion.
Okay, please, guys, if you can just post that also on our Cool Folks Love the Bachata Facebook, so everyone can be reminded of that, because I do want them to, come support you guys. But I want to add something real quickly. Okay, Alan, it's true. Yes, enjoy yourself dancing and what. Okay, respect. That is something I failed to bring up in this interview. And this is pretty. I don't know. This is probably just for the beginners or the young ones or whatever. I don't want to stereotype or discriminate anyone, but when I first started bachata dancing, right, it was because of a broken heart, right? I just ended a relationship. I'd never heard a bachata song in my life. I just said, got to be more to this world than a broken heart. So I came to my first dance social, and I just dance, and I learned something about respect about a woman. I didn't learn that until I had my first dance with her. Um, yes, a woman will say no and or yes or whatever, but it's about respect. It's about being a man. When I mean being a man, is about being assertive, being professional. Not having high expectations. These are all stuff I learned in the bachata world. It's about respect. It's fun. Yes, yes. It's dance and looking good, and you get a lot of contact, but it's also about respect. Not only in respect in her, but in respect in you as a man. I'm sorry. I guess what I'm trying to say is that for all those young ones that are listening, like you guys are, you see Romero and Prince Roy and all of these people that are whatever and all these dance events, but it's about, you really gotta want to do it. You just can't just show up to a dance social, grab a girl and say, I'm gonna get to know you, we're gonna get married, have kids. It doesn't work that way. Trust me, it doesn't work. I thought it did. I trust me, I'm ignorant to say I thought it did. That's how it was. But now, I'm like, hell no. It's about it's I can't emphasize this anymore. I'm saying this to everyone that's listening to me live. It's about respect. So little guys, if you guys are planning, and I have to tell my nephews this because they they don't really understand it. Little guys, if you're planning to have an expectation, going to the dance floor, and you're planning to like have X, Y, and Z, and it's going to be this way, and you're going to meet this person or whatever. No, you have to go in there with an open mind, the open mind that you ever had in your life on this planet. Because if you don't, it's going to be a lot of problems in the future. So clear, it's not only about having fun, it's about respect also. And when there's respect, fun happens. Does that,
Yes.
am I going off? Or I just wanted to mention that about respect because it's about respect also. So, yeah.
That's a really good point, and that's like a whole nother topic on like dance etiquette and all the different things that dance teaches us in real world applications and how to communicate with people. And there's so many life lessons that come from dance in general, which is huge, another topic.
4 hours on that.
Yeah, we could do hours on that topic. I think it's a combination of like respect and fun, but like also, what was it I was trying to say? It's just communication and boundaries. And what I was gonna say is, anybody who's been in the dance community long enough, who like this is their passion and they're not in it for a relationship, they're not in it looking for people, we can spot those people so fast. us women, we know who those guys are that they're hunting. They're looking for, their next date. And we're like, no. You can spot that person a mile away. For anybody who's been in the dance scene long enough and that is there because they love just to dance, we can we see your intentions. And so if you go into the world, into the dance community like that, with those kinds of intentions, women are going to talk about you. And we're going to be like, yeah, we know what he's here for. So be careful.
It's going to be a tough road ahead for you if that's you're continually doing that.
Yeah.
However, that's not to say that couples have met on the dance scene and
but that hasn't been the
successful.
intention. It hasn't been the intention.
I've met some couples who have been the intention and they let the dance scene run away. However, I would just caution not to be the type of person, both men and women, to just try to just date everyone in the scene. If you're gonna go in, if that's your intent, honestly, do it safely, and then also, like with respect, and just approach the person like you would respectfully would want to go out. But like at the end of the day, you shouldn't be focusing on doing that without repercussions, because it does get around.
Yeah, it does get around.
Yeah, so you don't want to tarnish your reputation by being a serial dater in the dance scene, so to speak. If you're going to do it with intention, with good intentions, yes, and don't try to be a player.
Yeah.
You guys should write a book and publish it. Seriously, I mean, you guys should. I mean, I'm not saying that to be funny, but I always like smart people, as you know. I love smart dancers. So you guys are the epiphany of having fun and being smart at the same time. Sure, seriously, you guys should have your own cool folks who love to bachata in Tampa or something, and talk about this and make it into a learning experience. You never know, because learning is power, and
many other veteran dancers who could speak to these topics. Like this is nothing new. Like people talk about this for decades. Like you could talk to probably Corky and Judith and Pablo and Raquel and all those big ones and talk about these topics, and they probably have loads to say on these things. So we are baby bachata compared to those people.
No, as far as I'm concerned, you guys are up there. You guys are on the top of you guys are on the top of my list of experts. Okay, as far as I'm concerned. So I respect everything you guys said, and I appreciate it. And I speak on behalf of everyone. They appreciate it too. Okay, so thank you so much. I would like you guys to come back. Now that I know you guys now, I'm Roswell. Hey, nice to meet you. Maybe sometime after the summer, because I'm planning to continue this after the summer and make it into a permanent thing. So maybe you guys can come back, talk about maybe an event coming up, and then we can continue. Like the respect stuff. Because I know, Alan, I know you would like to. It's this probably might take like 8 hours of an 8 hours interview. So seriously, you guys come back. Come back. I would like to, continue talking to you guys and listening as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Please continue sharing your postings on our webpage. Okay, subscribe to the YouTube stuff. Tell your friends about it and stuff. That we have our own channel. And hopefully, when I come back down south, I plan to be here at least until the summer, and then I plan to come back down south, hopefully in Atlanta, for the winter, and I plan to come back to Florida too. But I'll probably come, to one of your events and and say hello to you in person.
Yeah, definitely.
So please share your events, okay?
Yeah,
for sure.
It was a pleasure. Have a good night.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Have a good one.
We really appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good night.